Thursday afternoon with David Fortune on Radio West Fife.
I mentioned earlier we'd be chatting to Gordon Johnston from the Dunfermline and West Fife Sports Council this afternoon. Well, he's a wise man because he's arrived a wee bit early so he can get a parking space out there. Good afternoon, Gordon. How are you?
Oh, fine, thanks. Thanks very much for asking us along this
No, it's
this
absolutely
afternoon.
brilliant. I had a wee look at your website, westfifesport.co.uk. There's so much going on there, it's difficult to know where to begin. How long has the Dunfermline and West Fife Sports Council been on the go?
Right, well, it was originally formed in 1967 and we're the second oldest sports council in Scotland. I think there's about 60 sports councils in total in Scotland, and at present we have nearly 100 clubs across 30 different sports. It's been really a body that's allowed a lot of opportunity for the local population to take part in sport. Clubs to liaise with our secretary Noel Grimshaw, who is a founder of information really to assist them in promoting their own sports and various things that we actually do.
So in summary, what are the general aims of the Sports Council then?
Yeah, the general aims, particularly, obviously London Olympic year, opportunities to participate in sport, and we particularly have two main areas where we push that. One is in our Sport for All festival, which will run between the 1st of September and 9th of September, where there's something like 100 different events in 25 different sports. And the other one, which we're particularly proud of, is our primary school sports festival, where perhaps some of the listeners' children or grandchildren will have taken part in, where we have 17 festivals spread out throughout the year, the academic year, in 6 different sports. And last year, 2011, we had nearly 2,000 primary school age kids between P4 and P7 age taking part. We had 32 local primary schools actually enter at least one or two of these festivals. So that's really good. We get a lot of help with that from our partners, which are particularly Carnegie Dunfermline Trust, who grant aids us to help put on these particular festivals, as well as the Fife Sport and Leisure Trust, who help with facility provision, and of course Fife Council through its sports development and active schools departments all come together as a partnership.
I mean, it sounds like there's a heck of a lot of people involved here. How do you decide who to target with your campaigns and so on?
Yeah, that's quite difficult. I think it's, in some ways, it's a lot of the sports clubs, particularly those clubs who are promoting themselves in their sports, come to the fore. And I say we're lucky in that we've got athletics, hockey, tennis, bowls, a number of sports. In fact, in this week's Dunfermline Press, you'll see there's a big photographic spread, which you're just having a wee look at now.
You'll hear the paper rustling
So
away
you
in
can
the
hear
background.
rustling in the background.
The press
Yes.
has just been passed to me.
Yes, the Dunfermline Press is now picked up on, I think it's across the board, on sport means more than professional football.
Yeah.
There's lots of other sports involved of a voluntary nature, and they really are giving other sports good coverage. I've certainly in my own sport, hockey, seen in the last year a lot more people coming forward, knowing about that sport's there in the area and coming to sessions. And I think that's true for a lot of the other sports in Dunfermline West Fife.
So this was a particular competition you organised between the primary schools, yeah?
Yeah, the one that's in this week happens to be a hockey festival that was Tuesday on my day out, and they had 180 kids at the Petruvi Indoor Athletic Centre, along with teachers and people from Dunfermline Carnegie Hockey Club who ran it. And it was a bit noisy and very tiring.
I can
but
imagine.
at the end of the day, the kids all seemed to enjoy themselves, and we're very appreciative, of course, of the schools making the effort to get the kids from the schools to these festivals. Quite a bit of organisation and travelling on the school's behalf, but they certainly seem to keep on coming back. In fact, it's gradually grown over the last several years, and it's now reached the stage where, for instance, we have, through our secretary Noel Grimshaw, applied to the Inspire programme, which it's like a kite mark related to the London Olympics and Paralympics, and we've just recently been awarded that to be able to use that kite mark with all the events that will be in the primary school festival and our Sports for All festival. So that's taken a lot of hard work on Noel's behalf, but it really shows the standard that we've reached, because there's not that many places in the UK that will attain that trademark award that they can put beside their events.
Yeah, I'm still looking at these pictures actually.
Yes, plenty. I've never seen so many in the past.
The Dunfermline Press. I mean, there's a full 2 pages of pictures there, right in the centre pages. So definitely worth checking that out. The Sports Council, the Dunfermline and West Fife Sports Council, why do you think there is a need for this type of organisation?
I think it's the old story. In any community, there's lots of things that go on, but you're all in little sections. And they don't know what each other's doing. And when they need a little bit of expertise or some joint working or partnership, they can come, particularly, I keep mentioning the gentleman's name, but Noel is our link man. He used to be a sports development officer, and then after his retirement came into the Sports Council as a secretary, and he has a huge range of contacts and fund of information which he can pass between clubs. And also, I say, it's very important if clubs want to survive, to promote themselves and to get youths involved in sport, and older people. It's not just youth, it's throughout the whole age bands, but it's important for today with the obesity levels and everything else we read about, to get kids involved early.
Yep, definitely. As I look down to my
I wasn't wanting to say anything,
my beer belly here, yes. You're quite right. I believe it's you guys that organise the annual sports awards.
Yes.
I read something about that happening in February. How did that all come about?
That's been something that's been run now for quite a number of years, for more than a few decades in fact. It's really our third major thing after the Sports Festival and the Sports for All, was to recognise both participants, officials, coaches in our local community, give them some kind of recognition for what they do. So we have a whole range of awards which pick out the Athlete of the Year, Sports Personality Ailey Childs at the present time, and she's in pre-Olympic training, and a whole number of officials, people who've spent 30, 40 years, perhaps were athletes at one, themselves in the past, or maybe still, because there's lots of veteran athletes, but also the nitty-gritty of how a club works, because clubs are quite intricate. You've got to have treasurer, getting facilities, getting coaches along, providing equipment, and these people often do a lot of the hard work, and they're not really recognised, and so we've taken opportunity to do that. And likewise with the schools, we have a school sport award for the schools that come to our festivals, and they get points for attending. And points
so it's recognising the people that put the effort in, even if they're not front of house, so to speak.
Yes.
You have a lot of affiliate members, I noticed on your website, and you mentioned all the sports earlier on, covering just about everything from archery to water polo. Has there always been such a diverse range of sport on offer in the West Fife area?
I think yes, there has been. It's amazing. I mean, I'm still discovering sports all the time. There's a lot of things going on, but we just don't know about it. There's small groups of people doing various things. I mean, there's an aero modelling club, flying club, which perhaps people would query about being a sport and that. But there's things like that, as you mentioned, archery. I saw a picture in Dunfermline Press recently about a young man playing, is it French bulls or something like that, which I wasn't aware of took part, locally at all. But it is something which you just need to scratch beneath the surface of the community, and you find there's a lot of things happening. But what I would say to these people, come and join the Sports Council, get promoted. Your £5 fee, here's the advert coming up, £5 fee opens up to grant aid, which is something else that we can provide.
So a £5 fee, is that for the year?
That's just for the year for joining the Sports Council.
An absolute bargain.
It is a great bargain.
Even just to be affiliated to a parent body who's looking out for you. So you mentioned grant aid there. What sort of grants are clubs or individuals eligible for?
Yeah, the grant aid tends to come in three different sections. One is if you've got a sport development idea which we would be able to support, come along and speak to us. There are grants for individuals, again mainly coaches and officials, to help assist their development. Individual athletes should really go to the Fife Council grant aid system, and we can direct them there or advise them as necessary. That's really the sort of the major areas. Equipment is the third area. We get a lot of people who are starting up a club and require some fund aid just to start with some kit, and we can help to a degree. There are limits on that placed on it. I think the maximum grant that we can give is £200 if £400 is going to be spent, so it's 50% up to a maximum of £200.
Still, it's a significant amount.
It's quite a good amount, and they say it's there to be used by member clubs.
Last year you ran the Sport for All festival in the month of September. Do you have anything lined up this year, anything specific over the coming months?
Yes, we have the same sort of festival on, and there's going to be, last year it was 100 events, and I think it was over 30 sports. This year we have a few already big events penciled in. One is the 4th swim, which is a great thing just to go down and see. I mean, I had the honour of being able to start them for the past 2 years.
Spectator sport.
It's a spectator sport. I wouldn't get me in the 4th. And they're very brave. That's a particular one. The water polo have a big session on the 2nd of September. There's tennis at Aberdour and Dalgety Bay during the week. There's also what we call SALTs, which is the Scottish Association of Local Sports Councils, have various national events, and the Ladies Bowls is going to be in Dunfermline during our next Sports for All festival, in actual fact. So as you can see, there's quite a lot, and towards the end is usually the Scottish Young Athletes Trophy down at Petrevie, which is quite a big event, 300 or 400 athletes from throughout Scotland coming. And at the same day, there's often a Soccer Sevens event, which you literally have well over 1,000 or more people attending. Although they're not necessarily affiliated with us, they are actually such a big event and well-run event that it's quite a spectacle to see all these young kids running around the football pitch playing football in a way that it should be played with a lot of the professionalism.
Excellent stuff. Can I just quickly apologise about some of these bizarre background noises you might be hearing if you're listening in just now. There's some repair work going on the roof here at Radio West Fife, and I had to pick today to interview people. It's one of these things though, I have to just get on. It just sounds like quite overwhelming. There's so much going on with you guys just now. What's the best way for people to be kept up to date?
I think most probably through the website for contact to see some of the things that are going on, but our secretary Noel Grimshaw resides in a room in the Music Institute Eastport, Dunfermline, and certainly if people either want to contact him, most probably there by letter or by phone, that would be the easiest way. Email as well on the website is the email address, and that's also most probably a best way, because Noel's part-time, so there may be times when he's not there to take any messages or speak to you in person.
So that's westfifesport.co.uk.
Yes, and email-wise, it's sports.councilwest@fifeleisure.org.uk.
Right, I think we've pretty much covered all the bases there, Gordon. Is there anything else springs to mind?
No, I'll just say to the people that are listening and spread the word that there's a lot of sport going on out there. In this Olympic year, there's plenty of sport clubs locally who offer a high quality opportunity to take part in sport, so take the opportunity while you can.
Get involved. Gordon Johnston from the Dunfermline and West Fife Sports Council.
Thursday afternoon with David Fortune on Radio West Fife.